Hatabasi. Olimian Sandarabasa. This is a prophetic moment. Amakolimiandese. All of this, God, we lift it all up unto you. We lift up the President of the United States. I'm seeing his face. I'm praying for his family. I'm praying for the Vice President. I'm lifting up the lawmakers. God, we place a hedge of protection around and about them even now, in this moment. Takamorese. In this moment. Ishonda basanderese. I declare and decree victory over this now moment concerning these laws and these lawmakers and this bill and these bills. God, we lift all of these things up to you. You know what needs to take place. But God, you're showing me this now for a reason. I haven't done my stimulus update in a few weeks, but this is a impromptu stimulus update, and we lift up the lawmakers. No more bickering, fighting, backbiting, all of that craziness. People's lives are at stake while you bickering. I declare and decree that God, help me, Holy Ghost. I declare and decree that there be a coming together of the minds, of the wills, all of this bickering and God, we lift all of these things up to you, the author and the finisher of our faith. God, you said men ought to always pray, and I'm lifting all of these things up to you because you're bringing it to me to pray, and I'm just being obedient. So we lift all of these things up, God. We declare and decree victory over it. So yes, I wanted to say a day of reckoning, but I got to do some more research on that. I have to be mindful of the things that I'm saying, and so I'm just going to say it's a day of a coming together, a meeting of the minds concerning one thing. I know there are several clauses. There are several little, not little, but a lot of different things to consider. But I just sense that if you keep the central, keep it grounded, the main focus has to be at the center. And the main focus is to assist humanity during this time of crises. I'm seeing a pattern here. This happened, was it last year or was it, I don't know, this happened maybe last year, where there was so much bickering back and forth, couldn't pass this, couldn't pass that law. I'm sensing some of that, and that was a lot of negativity and activity that does not belong in this decision making process. So again, we lift all of this up. We declare and decree victory over it now. We declare and decree that there is a gathering of the minds to keep it one in one. It's just something about one, keeping it in the center, focused, keeping it focused on the main goal, and that is to assist humanity during this crisis, pandemic. Don't know really what's going on with the pandemic. Not hearing a lot about it. People are kind of lax. I see out in the streets and stuff. People are lax. Some people still wearing their masks and stuff. But God, where are we concerning this pandemic? We lift all of these things up. Vaccinations, schools, children. We just lift up the world to you, God. That's all I can do. Pray and lift these things up to you as we continue to pray for hurting people. We all are hurting in some way, shape, or form. And so again, these bickering back and forth, you want this, I want that. What does God want? In God we trust. Remember that? What is the purpose for the bill? To assist humanity? You know, the CARES Act was, I think I read it, and it said something about emergency, swiftly, speedily. I know this is not the CARES Act, that was before, but this is, supposed to be something that is quick in an emergency, but it doesn't appear to be. You're treating it as if it's an option. My God, this is not an option. This is a priority. So we declare and decree that you get back, to priority and not optional. Don't make humanity optional. My God, we just lift all of these things up tonight. We thank you now. If you need prayer, go to our website, submit your request there, please. www.drchandras.com. Amen.
Missouri. She is a member of the Progressive Caucus and a frequent guest and friend of the show. So I don't know if you were able to hear Susan Rice, Representative Bush, but I want to get your take because it feels like the progressives won today in that progressives held the line and said, we are not going to vote for the infrastructure bill if we don't have the assurances that the Build Back Better bill is going to also pass, that they're going to stay linked and stay together. In the end, were you prepared to vote against the infrastructure bill if it came to the floor?
Absolutely. And I made that very clear. Before I walked in the meeting this morning, the very first meeting where President Biden was there in that meeting, I walked in saying that I knew that if we didn't have both bills going together, that I would be a no, that would not change. And I want to see a Senate vote. I came out the same way that I went in, and I still stand firm, flat-footed right now, saying that if the infrastructure bill came to the floor, I would be an absolute no on it if it is not together with the Build Back Better Act. And the reason is, some have said, well, what about all the great things that are in it? And what I'm saying is we have to help the greatest number of people the quickest. And the way to do that is while we have the House, the Senate, and the White House, we need to make sure we get that done. And if we say that we're good with just helping some people when we know we can help more people, then that's an error on us. Our title is representative, so represent all the people.
Let me play for you what Senator Sanders said earlier today very quickly about that House vote that never ended up materializing. Here he is.
I think before there is a vote in the House on the infrastructure bill, the members of the House have a right to know that 50 U.S. senators are supporting a strong reconciliation bill.
He said 50 U.S. senators. That means Manchin and Sinema have to agree to the more than just a framework, my assumption is, to a bill. There's text of the bill out now. Do you trust Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to not double-cross the Progressive Caucus on Build Back Better?
No, and I don't owe them my trust, and they don't owe me theirs. What moves me and what moves the people actually is the vote. So give us the vote. Let us see the vote. That's how we know where you stand, is by the vote. Now, if they want to get up and give a big press conference and say that, hey, we've looked at the text and we agree with the text, we're having this press conference to make sure that it's on the record, and we're just waiting for Senator Schumer to pass it, to the floor, get it to the floor, then okay, that's different. We can start a different conversation. situation there. That's all I can say on that. But for me, it's not about trusting two people. It's about thinking about every single person in St. Louis that has reached out saying that, you know what, that $300, that child tax credit, how much that changed my household. It's thinking about when I was a teacher, when I worked in childcare for 10 years, and at one point I was a 3 and 4 year old teacher, and I remember when I became the administrator, I would have to turn away parents saying, you know what, it's Monday morning, and if you don't have your full tuition, your child can't stay for the week. And so they would have to take off work if they did have the money to pay so that they could go to work. We are cutting that. And I will not think about just, and what we're talking about, if we're only talking about the bipartisan infrastructure package, we're going to make sure that we set up white men. We're going to make sure we set up white men. Will some people of color get help? Yeah. But we're basically setting up white men, but we're leaving out immigrants, Black women, brown women, our Native community. We're leaving out so many others that are part of that other human infrastructure piece. And I won't do it. I won't do it because I felt like that's what happened to me before. I felt like when I was sleeping on the street, when I was on Medicaid and WIC and I had food stamps, I felt like who's been paying attention? When you give me a little and think that I'm supposed to bow down and get on my knees and thank you for it, when and instead of making sure that I had what I needed to sustain, and so I will not be that person that steps up and agrees with that. I'm going to make sure that each and every person in my community is able to live a decent quality of life if I have anything to do with it. And until that happens, I'm standing strong.
If I ain't never hear some truth in my life, oh God, I wanted to shout listening to this woman, this representative that had passion. You see, the difference here was passion. She been through something.
But she slept on the Capitol steps when the eviction moratorium was expiring from the first time. She's a congresswoman. She literally slept on the Capitol steps, the U.S. Capitol, for several days, and in protest to basically try to get President Biden to extend this. And Biden did. This is when he extended it the second time around. And they extended the eviction moratorium for literally millions and millions of people to literally prevent millions of people from being thrown out of their homes. So, and she basically said, hey, if millions of people are going to be thrown out of their homes, I'm going to do what is going to happen to them. And she slept down on the Capitol steps. And again, I really commend her because she literally took to the streets and what she believes in and kind of, this is, and again, you may or may not have a different political belief, and I try to take a middle line stance there.
So she has the compassion and the passion to effectively legislate and represent. You see, if you have no passion, no compassion for look at everything that's in this reconciliation package. She mentioned child care. What? You know how many parents, oh God, I don't want to cry, would benefit from this? White, black, brown, Latino, whoever, Korean, China, African, whatever, children, our future. Come on here, somebody. It's greater than what you think. It's greater. Look at the... Okay, I don't want to preach. This is impromptu stimulus package update, right? But she has the compassion and the passion. We need more representatives like that. They done been through something. And when they go to pass these laws and these bills, that thing is at the forefront of their minds. And this is how you effectively change a situation. Because you got the greater good at heart. Just like I said in my prayer. You got the greater good. Come on here, somebody. Roads and bridges, yes, we need that. But if you don't take care of the humans that are driving across the roads and the bridges, then what? Hello, somebody. Or the humans that's driving the cars and the trucks and the vans. I mean, really? Come on here. I declare and decree that God's will be done in this situation. You see, I am not an expert in the political arena, but I'm listening to this bits and pieces, and what I heard this morning, that they're trying to pass this infrastructure bill first. You know why it keeps failing? This is not the first attempt. It keeps failing because they are not being fair. They want to pass this so they can forget about the reconciliation bill. I mean, a blind man can see that. Hello. They're being sneaky, underhanded, and it will never work. Hello, somebody. Wake up. Wake up, people. Wake up. Let's get this thing done. Both bills are important. But if you had to put one before the other, then I would say the human infrastructure bill, not the infrastructure bill. Human infrastructure, humanity. That's what this is about, to help and assist humanity better. Why are you cutting? You cutting from 3.5 to 175? Like, what is this foolish? Okay, God. I'm calming down now. Because, see, this is what you call passion and compassion. Somebody that has already been something, sleeping outside on a park bench, homeless for years. Not because you don't know how to manage money, but because systems are set up for your demise. Don't make me tell my full truth. Current truth. You hear me? Do you hear and understand what I'm saying to you? Maxine Waters wants to help with housing, and they fighting that? Really? You know how many homeless people there are in the world? And I look, and I'm cutting this short, but this need to be said. I look sometimes at these little clips on Sunday morning, especially, of, you know, the poverty in Africa and Uganda and all these places. And this has been since I've been a child. Why hasn't this changed yet? Crickets, right? Why haven't this face of poverty changed yet? Homelessness changed yet? Because of the bills and the laws. Come on, people, wake up. So, the reconciliation and the bipartisan bill together. Ah, my God. There are so many little spiritual gems within this whole thing. And I declare that more people, like this representative here, will rise up and speak up and place a demand on heaven. Come on here, somebody. People that know how to pray, so we can get the proper alignment, the proper infrastructure in place. Human infrastructure. Hello, somebody. It's time for change for real.